Welcome back to the land. So my priority projects for this trip were to finish the staining of the cabin, to paint the doors and windows, and to work on the wood stove. Well, we're in a thunderstorm right now and it's raining. So I think painting and staining is not really going to be an option. Bummer. Well, we'll have to work inside and maybe work on the insulation. Well, everything looks good in the cabin like it should. I checked the mouse bait and there's no sign of it being eaten. So I'm feeling very good about getting all the cracks finally sealed up. I'm a little bit bummed about not being able to stain. Now I'm going to have to wait for the wood to dry before I can even start tomorrow. But there's stuff to do in here, and so I guess we'll just do that. So first things first, I'm going to get the van unloaded, and I think I'm going to sleep in here tonight. Since I got the poly on the ceiling, I can move the scaffold over, so I'm probably going to bring in some of that stuff as well. All right, we'll catch you in a bit. Sure is nice to have a place to go out of the rain, though, instead of hunkering down in the van where I can't even stand up. Good morning. Welcome to another day. As you can see, it looks a little bit gloomy today. It rained quite a bit last night when I first got here. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get any staining done, so I just worked in the cabin a little bit, did a little bit more insulation, and hung poly on one of the walls. So first priority, red squirrel. So first priority of the day is I want to get that stain mixed up, and I want to get that long wall stained. The stuff towards the bottom might be a little bit damp still from the rain splashing up on it, but I want to at least get done what I can. Time to feed the critters. So last night when I checked the game cam, we had deer, blue jays, ravens, and raccoons at the feeder. The bear wasn't back, so I don't feel bad putting food out again, so maybe he was just passing through. I don't know. I love this time of year. I'm sure the camera doesn't pick up the colors, but it's just beautiful in here. Just the yellow and green, and I think maybe later today I'll probably put the tools down and just go for a hike or a run. Just get out in the woods and look at the leaves and because it won't last long. Next thing you know, it'll be 20 below and 3 feet of snow. It is 8:30 in the morning and it is a pleasant 60 degrees. There's no wind at all, so it's definitely t-shirt weather. And I've got most of the stain stuff ready to go, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. I had to get a new bucket of stain because I ran out last time, but gosh, look, this stuff looks really orange. If you look at the old stuff on the thing, it's more brown, but this definitely looks orange. I hope it's the same stuff. It's supposed to be. Hey, Raven. Ravens, love them. Getting there. Get this side knocked out, and I got a little bit on the front from last time still. Maybe some touch up, and it's going to be done. And I'm ready to be done. All right, last section, other than the doors and windows, but this should go pretty fast. Be glad to be done with this project. So I'm going to put a trim board over this so you won't see it. It looks pretty ugly now, but it'll be all right. Good to be done with this. Now we got to get that wood stove figured out, though. That's the other major project before winter I want to get done. All right, well, you guys don't want 2 videos of sitting here watching me stain, so we'll catch you in a little bit. Well, it's finished. This is what it looks like. Obviously, I have to put some trim boards up here around the door and underneath here. I need to put a 2x8 under there, and then the sill plate for the deck is going to attach to that. I still need to paint the doors and the windows. But the other thing I wanted to do was I thought maybe I would just paint this shed with the same stain that I stained the cabin. But unfortunately, I just looked on the radar because it looks like it's gonna get wet here, and the weather radar says we're supposed to get a thunderstorm in about 30 minutes. So I'm gonna hold off on painting this shed until later this afternoon or tomorrow. I don't want to start painting it or staining it and have the rain start, or have it wet and then have the rain just wash it off. So I just got done with lunch, and I've been picking stuff up around here that I don't want to get wet. And I think I'm going to move into the cabin, and I'm going to look at that wood stove and try to put that together, at least the body of it. I don't have the stovepipe yet, because that is my next priority before winter. So, and if I got to be stuck inside, I might as well do that and hang some more insulation. So, all right, well, I'm going to cut down this maple tree quick, just because it is kind of touching the shed, and I don't want to have to deal with painting around the branches, and it needs to come down anyway. So I'm just going to grab the saw and quick knock that out. Boom! Horseshoe. All right. Oh, takes care of that. I get my saw out of here. Got a couple more. Cut this up into some more manageable sections and get her hauled off. Alright, time for more insulation. Good morning. Time to get up. Yep, I'm sleeping on the floor. 20 years old college student here again. So the good news from yesterday is we got the cabin staining job finished. The bad news is it rained. I think I finished it up about noon, And it rained off and on all afternoon, including about an inch of rain between supper time and about 10 p.m. So last night I just did a little bit more wiring. I added in a 12-volt wire for some track lighting, and then also for like a USB charging station by the table. So I have a couple things that I need to do to finish that up, and then I can put in the rest of the insulation and poly, and then those two projects are done as well. And then as far as construction stuff, then it will be moving on to like paneling and ceiling stuff. Okay, so I came out here last night to look at this, and it actually doesn't look that bad this morning. Some of this stuff is what I was looking at last night, and I'm not sure what that is exactly, but for the most part, I think we look okay. I don't see any major issues. Okay, well that's actually really good news. But it's early in the morning, and as you can see, the sun is finally shining. It's fairly cool. I mean, it's nice, but it's a little bit cool this morning. So I think that that's 50. You know what I think we're going to do? I think we're going to grab the shotgun, and I think we're going to drive down the gravel road and see if we can't see any grouse. And when we get back, it should be a little bit warmer, and the wind will be up drying things off, and then we'll get going for the day. I don't know if you guys can see that maple tree in there. The way the sun is hitting it on the backside. But I thought it might make a cool picture. So I'm going to make my way down there. This is where I'll jump a grouse since I don't have my gun. Well, I was driving down the road and a grouse flew out of a tree and coasted down along the road and snuck into the woods, so I thought I'd go for a little walk in the area and see if I could come up with anything. But so far, nothing. The sun was out earlier, it was so pretty. Now it's kind of clouded up again, but it's still nice out. But the leaves are all wet from the rain last night, so it's really easy to be really quiet. Yeah, now is when I'll flush a grouse when I'm messing around with the camera. I'll catch you in a little bit. I'd been following this old lost trail that had little reflective dots nailed in the trees. If it wasn't for the dots, you'd have no idea where you're at. We came up on this ridge line, and there's an old deer stand up here. Guessing it's been a few years since anybody used it, being as you couldn't get to it even if you wanted to. Makes a guy wonder though if maybe they know something I don't know, and maybe it'd be worth resurrecting. Huh. Look at all the pitcher plants. For those of you who don't know pitcher plants, they're a carnivorous plant. Bugs fall into their little water traps there, and they get digested by the plant's enzymes or whatever. So, any bugs in there? It's been kind of cold, so I'd be surprised if there's much left for bugs. Oh, it's getting pretty wet in here. Kind of late for this bog chanterelle. But he'll eat. I didn't shoot a lot of video this time up to the land just because I was doing a lot of the same projects that I did in the last video, and really they had limited entertainment value. So let's take a tour of the cabin and you'll get caught up on where progress is at. So a couple of the priority projects this weekend. were to finish the stain on the cabin, get the wood stove going, and get the insulation and the poly done. So as you can see, I did get the cabin done. The door is open, and it's all stained now. The only thing I do have to do still on the outside is paint the doors and the windows. All right, and inside, this is where we're at. So we've got the entire cabin insulated. We've got the entire cabin vapor barriered or poly wrapped. And all of my light fixtures and wiring are complete at this point. So a couple things I have going is I have 110 outlets, and I have a little USB charging station. I have a light switch because I'm going to have some 12 volt track lights above like where the kitchen area will be. Another 110 outlet, 12 volt light switch. And then this is still kind of a work in progress, but I have like a fan switch, and it's just the battery I'm using. And I have another light switch back there and an outlet back there that's 120. So all of the lights are 12 volt, and the outlets will be 110 in the event that I use an inverter or a generator for some reason. I don't even know what that would be, but I figured it was easier to wire them in now than wish I had them later. So I still have to cut the poly off the windows. It's really late and I gotta hit the road. I ran out of staples, I ran out of poly, so it's really just a good time to call it for the weekend. So unfortunately it rained off and on most of the weekend, and of course now that I'm going home, the sun is coming out, although it looks like there's some storm clouds in the distance. So the next time I come up, I want to stain that tool shed with the same stain that I stained the cabin with, and I need to get deer stands ready for deer hunting, and I need to work on that wood stove. So the problem with the wood stove is it was a super clearance deal, and probably one of the reasons it was so cheap is because it's missing half of the hardware, nuts and bolts to put it together. So I need to do that. I need to make a box when I'm home this weekend or this week, and for mounting it into the rafters. So yeah, lots of stuff going. So I just want to tell you guys thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you watching the videos and commenting. It's always fun to read the comments. I read every single one, and I try to reply to everyone as well. But I better hit the road here. It's getting kind of late, so we will see you soon.